The storm rolled in faster than the weather reports predicted. By the time Daniel Reese realized how bad it was, the roads were already flooded, and his truck had skidded into a ditch off Route 15. His phone had no service. His radio picked up nothing but static. And the nearest town was miles away. He was alone. The rain hammered against the windshield as he stepped out, pulling his jacket tight. Trees swayed like black shadows in the wind, their branches clawing at the sky. He had grown up in the rural outskirts of Pennsylvania, so he wasn't afraid of the woods. But something about this storm felt unnatural, too sudden, too violent. He only had two choices: stay in the truck and risk the rising waters, or make a run for shelter deeper in the woods. Do or die. The first signs. Daniel grabbed his flashlight and pushed through the trees. The beam cut through the sheets of rain, bouncing off wet bark and puddles. The forest floor squelched beneath his boots. After an hour, he spotted a dim light ahead, a cabin, old and weather-beaten, half hidden in the trees. Relief washed over him. Shelter. But as he stepped closer, unease settled in. The windows were dark, except for a faint glow from inside. And carved into the wooden door, deep and jagged, were three words. "Don't come in." He froze. The storm roared around him, lightning splitting the sky. His truck was long gone behind him. He had no signal, no food, no choice. He whispered to himself, "It's do or die." Then he pushed the door open. Inside the cabin. The air inside smelled of damp wood and old ash. A fireplace sat cold and empty. Cobwebs clung to the corners. But on the wooden table in the center of the room lay something strange, a radio, the kind used in the 1970s, still humming faintly. Daniel frowned. No power lines ran out here. The dial moved on its own, stopping at a frequency filled with static. Then, slowly, a voice emerged, raspy, broken. "You chose to enter. That was your last option." Daniel's blood ran cold. "Hello? Who's there?" he asked, his voice shaking. Silence. Then the voice returned. "The storm brings more than rain. Survive until dawn, or die trying." The radio snapped off. The first night. At first, Daniel thought it was a sick joke. Maybe the cabin had some weird local legend attached. But then he heard it, the crunch of footsteps outside, circling the cabin. Slow, deliberate. He killed his flashlight and crouched low, heart pounding. A shadow passed across the window. Then came the knock. 3 hard, deliberate raps against the wood. Daniel didn't move. Didn't breathe. After a long silence, he dared to peek outside. No one was there. But when he turned back, muddy footprints now trailed across the cabin floor, leading from the door to the radio. And the radio switched back on. "It begins." The hunt. The hours crawled by. The storm raged. Every creak of the cabin made Daniel jump. He found an old axe by the fireplace and clutched it like a lifeline. At 2 a.m., the knocking returned, this time from the back door. Then the windows rattled as if someone was pressing against them, testing for weakness. Daniel shouted, "Stay the hell away from me." The radio crackled with laughter. He barricaded the doors with chairs, his mind racing. Whoever, or whatever, was out there wanted him terrified. Wanted him to break. By 3 a.m., exhaustion set in. But just as he began to doze, the radio hissed again. "You can't wait it out. You must face it. Do or die." The door burst inward. The confrontation. A figure lunged through the rain and wind, a twisted silhouette, tall and faceless, its limbs too long, its body shrouded in dripping black. Its movements were jerky, as if each step took enormous effort. Daniel swung the axe with all his strength. It connected with a sickening crack. The thing shrieked, a sound that wasn't human. It staggered but didn't fall. Daniel ran, heart pounding, out into the storm. Branches whipped his face. Lightning split the sky. The creature followed, its heavy footsteps slamming against the mud. He pushed himself harder, lungs burning, until he stumbled into a clearing. There, in the middle, stood a twisted tree split by lightning, its trunk hollow like a mouth. And carved into its bark, glowing faintly, were the same words from the cabin door. "Don't come in." The creature closed in behind him, its guttural growls vibrating in the air. Daniel had seconds. He looked at the tree's hollow opening. Every instinct screamed at him not to enter. But he remembered the radio's words, "Survive until dawn." He whispered, "Do or die." And he leapt inside. Darkness swallowed him. The world twisted. He felt weightless, like falling through water. The growls faded. The storm's roar dimmed. When he opened his eyes, he was back in his truck, engine dead, rain still falling. His phone buzzed with a single bar of service. It was 6:12 a.m. dawn. The woods were silent. Aftermath. Daniel drove away as soon as the road cleared. He never spoke of what happened, not to his family, not to the police who found his truck tire tracks leading strangely into the forest. But he never forgot the voice. Months later, while scrolling through local news, he froze at a headline. 2 hikers missing near Ashwood. Last seen approaching old cabin. The photo showed the same place. The same storm-blackened woods. And Daniel swore he could hear, faintly, the crackle of a radio behind the picture. Your turn. When survival is on the line, the choices we make define us. Daniel's last option was clear, do or die. But sometimes, survival comes at a cost, because some places don't let you leave unchanged.